Well, for more on this, Carina Fearnley, an associate professor from University College London, joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us. This tsunami just really caught everyone by surprise. Explain to us how it was triggered.
Well, there's a lot of different ideas at the moment, but the one that's getting the most consensus is the fact that this volcano erupted, and as that magma was rising up through the volcano, it displaced some of the material under the water, and that created a landslide. And that landslide has displaced the water, and that's what we need to create a tsunami.
Now, this volcano has erupted before, though, and there was no threat of a tsunami. Are there any mechanisms in place, any mechanisms that exist to warn people? Because in this case, there was no warning.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Krakatoa erupted in 1883 in an incredibly large eruption, and that was a full-blown volcanic eruption that created a very large tsunami that killed over 26,000 people. Unfortunately, with landslides, it's very different to earthquakes. With earthquakes that generate tsunamis, we can detect that earthquake, and we can then monitor and see if a tsunami has been generated. But with landslides, it's a little bit more difficult for us to monitor every inch of the coastline and actually detect whether a landslide's been generated. So unlike an earthquake generated or a very large volcanic generated tsunami, people don't have the warnings. Even if there's no warning system in place, people can feel an earthquake or can see a volcano erupting, and that should be their warning sign that they need to get to high ground. But unfortunately, in this case, it was dark. They might not have seen the volcanic eruption, and of course, it was a silent landslide that was generated this tsunami.
Can you compare? I mean, is it possible to compare a tsunami that's triggered by a volcano or a landslide versus a tsunami that's triggered by an earthquake, or is just a tsunami? Is it just a tsunami?
In a way, a tsunami is just a tsunami. They vary in different scales, and it very much depends on where that tsunami happens. In this case, the tsunami was very proximal to very large or to quite significant populations. So unfortunately, when we have a tsunami that's generated by an earthquake in the middle of the Pacific, some countries can get 6+ hours warning about a tsunami. But in this case, because the land and populations are very close to the volcano of Krakatoa, they would have only had a few minutes warning, even if there was a warning system in place.
All right, Carina Fearnley, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insight with us.